All right. Good evening. Welcome to the first 2019 Town Council meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So first up, this being the first meeting, we've got election of officers for 2019. First up is president, if there's any nominations.
I would nominate Josh Garrett.
Second.
Ooh, first from Vice President Traylor, second from Councilor Hopper. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed?
Point of order.
Sure.
We need to name the office we're nominating you for?
We do? Is it for president?
That would be correct.
Okay, I'll take it. Do we need to redo something?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I would nominate Josh Garrett for president of the Zionsville Town Council for the year of 2019.
Is there a second?
Second.
Got a second from Councilor Hopper. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I am elected by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Next up is vice president, and I would like to nominate Brian Traylor for vice president of Town Council for 2019.
Second.
Got a second from Councilor Spees. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Brian Traylor is elected by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Congratulations. Next up is the approval of the memorandum of the December 17th, 2018 regular meeting. A copy has been posted. Any questions, or I take a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a first from Councilor Suarez, second from Councilor Plunkett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The memorandum of the December 17th, 2018 regular Town Council meeting is approved by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Departmental monthly reports. Reports were submitted by town management staff for council review and posted on the town's website. Any questions from any of the councilors for anyone on staff? All right, we will move on. Next up is the swearing in of new police officers by Mayor Hawk and Chief Knox. This is Officer Christopher Wheeler, Brian Cavett, and Amanda Heights. Chief Knox, Mayor Hawk.
Thank you, Mr. President. If it please the Town Council, Mayor Hawk, Deputy Mayor Mitro, I would like to call Mr. Christopher Wheeler, Bryn Cavett, and Amanda Heights to the front of the room, please. For the council, these are our three newest officers that have been approved and hired as your Zionsville police officers, the newest members of our agency. Christopher Wheeler, closest to me here, came to us from the Indianapolis International Airport Police Department. He graduated from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in March of 2013. And he's also a graduate of the University of Indianapolis with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Bryn Cavett, on the far end, came to us from the Memphis, Tennessee Police Department. He graduated from the Memphis, Tennessee Police Academy in August of 2017. And he graduated from Vincennes University with an associate's degree in criminal justice. Amanda Heights, in the middle, came to us from the Vermilion County Metropolitan Enforcement Group in Danville, Illinois. She graduated from the Southwestern Police Academy in December of 2017 and graduated from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign with a bachelor degree in Spanish and political science. So, if you would, and at any point in time, family or friends, if you want to step forward and take pictures, please do so. At this time, don't be bashful. This is a great opportunity to take your photos. And Mayor Hawk, would you administer the oath of office?
If you will raise your right hand and repeat after me the oath of office for police officer for the town of Zionsville, Indiana. I state your name.
I, Greg Hasley,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and statutes of the state of Indiana,
the Constitution and statutes of the state of Indiana,
and the ordinances for the town of Zionsville.
and the ordinances of the town of Zionsville.
I further swear that I will faithfully and impartially
I further swear that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of police officer for the town of Zionsville, Indiana,
discharge the duties of police officer for the town of Zionsville,
Indiana.
Indiana,
according to the best of my skills and abilities,
according to the best of my skills and abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Now, if the family members or the whoever was chosen by the new officers to come up and pin their badges on them, if you'd come forward at this time. Thank you all very much. Yeah, you guys can. Thank you.
I always did the wrist corsage at prom, so we don't have to do the whole pinning on and worry about sticking someone. Family, you're welcome to stay through this meeting if you'd like, but I'm also not upset if you want to leave with your officers and go celebrate with them out there too. So no problem if you excuse yourselves. Any requests to speak?
No, there are no requests to speak.
Great, and we have no old business. First up, we've got a consideration of appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees. These are town council appointments. I believe most of council has seen this list and contributed to this list. Any questions on anyone on this list or any discussion on this matter before we vote? If not, I take a motion to approve.
Move approval for the full list as a bundle.
Thank you, Councilor Suarez. Got a second?
Second.
Second from Councilor Plunkett. Just got it in. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Next up, we've got a consideration of a resolution urging support for the enhancement of bias crimes legislation. This was spearheaded by our Non-Discriminatory Practices Review Committee, which is chaired by Councilor Suarez, who I'm going to turn over to talk further on this matter. Councilor Suarez?
Thank you, President Garrett. The Non-Discrimination Committee was formed several years ago in order to address issues that came before Zionsville that would, in any way, shape, or form, block or obstruct the ability for people to happily live or do business in the town of Zionsville. So when this issue came to our attention, we thought it was important to listen to our constituents and to our business members, and in collaboration with town officials, Mayor Hawk and others that had a vested interest in this, we had a hearing and vetted thoroughly the language that is put in front of you. On December 19th, it was voted unanimously to pass this resolution onto a full vote by the town council, in which we asked the legislature to please take into consideration a positive vote for the hate crime legislation put in front of them. I know Councilor has a presentation that she wants to go through this on as well, and we'd like to go through that presentation before we present the full resolution to you. As part of that, and since I can actually now breathe, I'd also like to thank our member of the House of Representatives, Representative Shively, for being here. I know you're very interested in this issue, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the committee. I also want to thank Representative Shively for being here. So we're just in the second full day of the legislature, and she was able to change her schedule to be here tonight. And in large part, also want to thank her for her leadership. So she has introduced House Bill 1020, which is a hate crimes bill that is supporting a lot of work that's gone on over the summer interim with key business and education leaders, as well as a lot of the constituencies that are impacted by these crimes. And so thank you, Representative Shively. I know she's going to be giving further remarks on their bill tomorrow, so stay tuned to hear more about that. But we appreciate your leadership and all you do for the town of Zionsville. So just real quickly, I just wanted to walk through a few bullets, which I know I've sent out to you all in advance. As Councilor Suarez said, members of the town's non-discrimination committee and Mayor Hawk met on December 19th to discuss the support of bias crimes legislation during the 2019 session. And we have researched these issues. We've been involved on behalf of the town in some of the interim study conversations as well. And the committee unanimously did approve the resolution you have before you. So I wanted to share a little bit about what a bias crime is, just so we all have an understanding of what's being discussed at the legislature. So bias crimes can be referred to as bias crimes or hate crimes. And what typically happens is you have a criminal act that must take place first. So some sort of underlying criminal act has taken place, and the perpetrator of the crime or the perpetrators are specifically targeting an individual or a group of individuals because of an actual or perceived bias motivator, such as race, religion, gender disability, national origin, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Those are the key categories. I know Representative Shively's bill goes even further, and we really appreciate that. She also includes members of law enforcement, as well as members of the armed services or members of a particular religious organization. Some of the things that have been discussed over the summer interim, there has been bias crimes legislation introduced over the last several years. It's been met with some controversy and a lot of conversations gone in over the interim study committee process, as well as we've seen now Governor Holcomb come out with his support as well. And so what constitutes bias crime motivated in statute includes specific protected classes and creates a sentencing tool or an aggravator, which is used in Representative Shively's bill, or sentence enhancement for prosecutors and judges to then use to look at the crime and increase the crime based on that bias motivation. So as we talked about, there's going to be a discussion, and this will be a point of discussion, I think, among legislators in terms of what should be covered in the protective class or who should be covered in terms of a sentence aggravator or an enhancement that might be put into place. And there'll be conversations about that, including race, religious beliefs, national origin, gender identity, disability, sexual orientation, or as I mentioned before, some of these additional categories like law enforcement, member of armed forces, or ancestry of a selected individual. Another key component of some of the bills being discussed, and also the bill that you've introduced, is making sure there are education standards in place for law enforcement officers to be able to identify what a bias crime is, better understand when one has occurred, and then be able to report accurately on those crimes that have taken place. The other key thing that there will be a lot of conversation about is where Indiana stacks up. So Indiana is just among one of 5 states that doesn't have additional sentencing considerations for a bias crime. So we are by far in the minority, and I think many feel it's time to address the issue at the legislature. The Indy Chamber has been leading a coalition which we hope to sign on to and take part in the conversations that have been taking place. And they're supporting bias crime legislation that looks very similar to what you see before you in the resolution. It looks at making sure there are meaningful protections for all Hoosiers based on race, religious beliefs, gender identity, and sexual orientation, that it adds some sort of meaningful sentencing consideration, whether it be an aggravator or an enhancement. Those are sort of interchangeable terms that are used. And then provisions for law enforcement tracking and data. And so those are the key elements. Like I said, there's been a lot of conversation taking place. I think you're seeing many of the large business organizations around the state participating. I know there'll be members representing the Indiana State Chamber, the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. I know our local chambers are starting to get more involved in the issue as well. So with that, I'm just going to pause. I'm happy to answer any questions, but no, you have a lot in front of you as well. So.
Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
From your research and your activity behind this issue, have you seen other municipalities take this kind of action?
There have been a few. I think Zionsville is definitely leading that charge, and we do plan to share our resolution tonight with members of the General Assembly, as well as the governor, as well as Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, which is the municipal organization that represents the association interest. There have been a couple. I know New Albany, for example, is one that came out very early. I believe Monroe County, Bloomington has also been considering a resolution. City of Indianapolis, I know council members there have filed a resolution. I do not believe it's been heard yet, but there are a few. Zionsville is definitely a leader in this, and I know Representative Shively can attest. It's been really interesting listening to the dialogue around how crimes are committed. Different ethnicities and different religious organizations really have crimes perpetrated on them in very different ways. And so the law enforcement education is really a key component to making sure that people have the tools in place to be able to identify these crimes.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm very happy to be on that leadership side and the tip of the spear. So. And with that, I would present to the President, to the Council, the resolution that you have in front of you for full consideration as a report out from our committee.
Great. Thank you. And if I didn't mention this, this is resolution number 2019-01. Any other questions or comments from councilors? Councilor Suarez, I'd let you do the honors if you'd like to make a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number
2019-01.
2019-01.
Second.
Got a second from Vice President Traylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution number 2019-01 passes with a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Moving on to other matters, I know Mayor Hawk had an interest in this matter as well and wanted to make a brief statement on this as well. So Mayor Hawk?
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to attend your committee meeting on this when we put this together. One of the outcomes of that committee meeting was not only making it known that we were supportive of that legislation, but what we do on our end to help identify it. So with that, I'm issuing Executive Order number 1 for 2019, and I'll go ahead and read it for you. I know you received it this afternoon, but for the members of the public and press here. Whereas the town of Zionsville, Indiana is a place that values the diversity of our residents, and whereas the town of Zionsville has a great reputation for being welcoming and promoting of all its residents, visitors, and businesses, and wants to continue to provide protections for all, regardless of race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, nationality, gender identity, or sexual orientation, and whereas the town of Zionsville is open for business to all, and whereas, as mayor for the town of Zionsville, I will advocate for statutory protections for our residents, visitors, and businesses, and ask the legislature to provide enhanced penalties for those that commit biased crimes in our community. And whereas mayor, I will urge the legislature to pass legislation in 2019 to provide protection against biased crimes for all Hoosiers, inclusive of race and ethnicity, religious beliefs, gender identity, or sexual orientation. And whereas as mayor, I will take immediate steps to provide additional education and outreach in our community to ensure that those that commit biased crimes are properly identified. Now, therefore, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the town of Zionsville, it is hereby ordered as follows. The mayor hereby orders that the chief of police and the Zionsville Police Department establish training to inform and educate all officers of the town on ways to identify biased crimes in our community. This training will be required of all current officers of the town and all future new officers hired into the department. The mayor also hereby orders the chief of police and the Zionsville Police Department to collect data associated with crimes committed that the chief and/or his designee believes were motivated based on bias due to race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, nationality, gender identity, or sexual orientation. So, and a brief update from Chief Knox is Captain Morris is already researching this training and helping to identify it. I'm sure they'll be partnering with the prosecutor's office as well. So,
Very good. Thank you, Mayor Hawk. Appreciate it.
And I just have to say, Mayor Hawk, then Councilman Hawk, I remember, and this council passed the resolution to establish a non-discrimination committee back after RFRA many years ago, and he has been a leading voice in this effort since I've known him. So thank you for taking the step.
Happy to do so.
Any other matters that any counselor may have to talk about? Okay, next is approval of claims. I'll make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
A second from Counselor Suarez. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Claims are approved by a vote of 6 in favor, 0 opposed. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First from Counselor Hopper.
Second.
Second from Vice President Trailer. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned. The next regular Town Council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019 at 7:30 a.m. in the Zionsville Town Hall Council Chambers. Please note the date shift due to Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday.
So Nielsen called you when you were in Florida?